This is lesson 4 of Cantonese style Mahjong. In the first lesson, I introduced you to the tiles and I showed you the different sets that you're going to be playing with in order to create a hand of 4 sets and a pair. Now that would be the standard configuration. We're going to talk about special hands later. I showed you in the second lesson the player reference so that you can get an idea of the value of the tiles. The last lesson, lesson 3, was the game setup and play so that you could see how to claim discards to make sets. Now I'm going to show you the different kinds of combinations that you can have, all the way from a 0-point hand up to a really nice scoring hand. So I'm going to start off with a 0-point hand, and one way to get a 0-point hand is to mix chows and suits. So I'm going to have a 1, 2, 3 bam. Here's a 4, 5, 6 dot. Here is a 2, 3, 4 crack. Let's put in a pung of cracks, and then here's a pair of a pair of red dragons. So this would be a 0-point hand. We are mixing chows and suits. That's how you drive your score down. That's not good. This is a 0-point hand. And because Mahjong is a gambling game, you need to have some score. And typically there's some kind of a point minimum or fawn minimum at a table. So let's say there's a 3 fawn minimum. You would not be able to win with this hand because it's 0 fawn. We could make this better by removing the the pung. We've got a 3 of a kind here. We can remove that and replace it with another chow. So now we have 4 sets and a pair, and they're all chows, except for the pair, of course. But we have 4 chows. This now is a 1 fawn hand. So if you're playing in a game that has a 1 fawn minimum, you would be able to win with this. But this is still pretty low. Another way you can improve this is to make it 1 suit with honors. So let's take out the bams and the dots, and we'll bring in cracks. Let's bring that pung of 1s back. And then let's bring in another set. So now we have 1 suit with honors. And when you have 1 suit with honors, also called a half flush, it could be either wins or dragons. In this case, it's a red dragon. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sets and a pair in cracks and honors. This is called a half flush, and this is worth 3 fawn. You would be able to win with this if you had a 3 fawn minimum at your game. We have a mixture of chows and a pung here. We could make this better by getting rid of this pung and turning it to a chow. So let's do that. Now we have 4 sets and a pair. The sets are chows. So this would be 3 fawn for a half flush plus a fawn because you have all chows. So this would be a 4 fawn hand. Now pungs are more valuable than chows. Let's look at that. We're going to make these pungs. Let's see, here's a 4. Now we have all 3 of a kind. 7 crack, 1 crack, 3 crack, 4 crack, all 3 of a kind. This is an all pung hand, which is 3 fawn, and then this is a half flush, which is another 3 fawn. So this would be a 6 fawn hand. That's a pretty amazing hand. Let me tell you about dragons. Dragons all by themselves in a pung, that would be a fawn all by itself. So if this were our hand, we would have 4 sets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a pair, and it would still be a half flush, and all pung, but you would also get a fawn for that dragon. So this would be a 7 fawn hand. Any pung of dragons is going to bring you another fawn of score. So let's say this player here is east. So let's take those 3 cracks out and put in a pung of east. So now we still have a half flush, 7s, 1s, we have a pair of 4s, and then we have a pung of east and a red dragon. So we have all pungs, which is 3 fawn. Then we have a half flush, which is 3 fawn, so that's 6. We have a pung of dragons, so that's 7. And then we have a pung of east, which is my own wind, so that's 8. Plus, it's the wind of the round, so that's another fawn. So this, if this were east round and I am east, this would be a 9 fawn hand. Let's see, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. This would be a 9 fawn hand. That'd be amazing. So that's how you can bring your score up using the different sets. Remember that anytime you're working with chows, you're going to want to deal with 1 suit or 1 suit with honors. Because if you mix chows and suits, you're going to drive your score down. The closer you get to 1 suit or 1 suit with honors, the better your score. Anytime you're working with honors only, you're going to have really high scoring hands. We're going to talk about that in the next lesson.